Muskogee, Oklahoma, just south of the Arkansas River Bridge on US Highway 69. It's the beginning of the test section. I'm going to do the panoramic view and explain some things about this test section which may be a little bit different than some of the others, and then we'll go back and look at the first borehole downstream down towards the end of the test section. See that Oklahoma's falling weight is out with us today. Pan around in a clockwise direction. Right now we're looking northbound. We're in the northbound lanes, obviously. Panning around. We're in the floodplain of the Arkansas River. The bridge is right up ahead. I don't know if it was visible in the videotape there. We're in some farm country here. Back around you can see the boring rig. Looking back up stream from us. There's one of the typical pieces of traffic that comes down here, a truck sweeping on around. So we're pretty well separated from the southbound lanes. It's looking out towards the west, due west from where we are. Now panning back around to where we began from. I'll sweep counterclockwise to indicate something which is a little bit different about the characteristics of the traffic on this test section as opposed to the others. First of all, there's an acceleration lane to the left of us, and out over there, I'll zoom in on it, is a sand pit right along the banks of the Arkansas River. Now the trucks from this particular pit tend to move out through that gate on up a frontage road there, southbound to this crossover back behind us. See the stop sign there in front of the Motel 6 sign. Most of them, from what the people here in Muskogee tell me, will continue on southbound out of there, since the town is completely to the south of us. We're just inside the Muskogee city limits here. But a few of them will cross over here and turn left using this lane as an acceleration lane to merge into the traffic stream here. Back off from it so we can see that. It tapers on out at the end of the test section. Using this test section because of it having the acceleration ramp and having that source of loaded trucks over there. However, I was told that, as you can see, there's a considerable amount of truck traffic which just go through on US 69 northbound anyway, and there's another pit on the other side of the river which primarily feeds truck traffic from the pit going in the northbound direction. The amount of trucks that would use this coming from this pit is a relatively small proportion. When I cut it off, there's a truck coming out of there right now. Let me go ahead and cut it off and move over there to show. Just what I was talking about. That truck just came out of that pit on this side of the river. And just as the people here in Muskogee mentioned, almost all of these trucks are going southbound. There's just a handful a day which don't constitute a high percentage of the trucks which use this lane. Besides, the acceleration lane, as you can see up here, will provide a ready means of detouring the traffic when we're out here closing this lane for doing the sampling and testing and the other monitoring functions, which would require lane closure. The acceleration lane in the left-hand lane of the northbound direction does not pose any problems that would cause us not to want to use this as a test section. In fact, I think it enhances the ability to use this section of the roadway. This pavement was constructed in 1981 for concrete with a total of 10 inches of hot mix. We can get an indication of the thicknesses as they are in reality in the field. This is a picture of borehole 1, and you can see that there are, just as it showed in the plans, 10 inches of asphalt concrete. The tip of it may not be too visible in the video here, but the bottom of it is located at the drop-off at the edge of the asphalt concrete where it borders material underneath. Distinguish just looking at it from the sides which is which layer But again, what we were looking at to distinguish between the different layers. But again, it's not terribly important that we do that this time, as long as we verify the total thickness of the asphalt concrete for this to be sure that it meets the requirements for the cells drawn from the hole. This first, and they're at 6-inch intervals as they have been for the other test sections. This first here is the asphalt concrete. We don't have the select material which we've had under some of the ones. The subgrade here is predominantly silt, some sand mixed in. It is fine grained by and large, but very little clay also. And it's quite uniform. It's not a bad material to work with according to the local people. It's painted also through here. Get up close and personal with this one. Just get an idea of the texture and the color and everything. Begin the walking video tour of this with a look down the test section. This is from the beginning station. This test section begins at station 3347 on the plans, which was coincidentally marked for us out here before we got here, so we're able to locate the location, to find the location very easily after we had gotten through one of the problems which is described in the report before. Looking down the test section, the most evident type of distress that I noted walking through is quite visible, and it's a crack along the joint between the outside lane and the shoulder. This was apparently at the joint between the passes of the laydown machine going down the road, and the crack has opened up there. And I'm going to pan down and to zoom in on it just to give an indication of how wide the crack is. Right around here it's about 1/2 inch wide, and that's pretty typical throughout. There are places where it goes a little bit wider than that, and there are other places where it's a little bit narrower. I believe I have most of it cataloged at a low severity level because there isn't too much spalling and secondary cracking alongside there. Now I'm going to pick up and move on down and indicate some of the other forms of distress which are present. In the meantime, we're getting some rut depths at each of the stations as we go behind it. On down the test section, I don't know how apparent this is. You can pretty much see where the wheel path is by the different color of the roadway. What we noted at the beginning of the test section, though, is we had more rutting in the inside wheel path than in the outside. Had around 2/10 of an inch in the outside, and in one place we had one measurement had 4/10 on the inside. See Mr. Dwight Hickson up there, research engineer with Oklahoma DOT, running the rut bar.